Hi, my name is Emily Churkin and I'm the Screen Time Consultant. One of the questions I get asked the most is, when should I get my kid a smartphone? And here's my answer. You should delay as long as possible. The problem with giving our kids phones too soon or too early is that it is much, much harder to take it back later. It's hard to delay it, but not as hard as pulling it away later. And the number of parents who call, email, message me about how they wish they had waited is enough for me to say this tip with such conviction. If you can delay, then delay. I know that the tide feels like it's against you, that quote unquote, everybody else has a smartphone. There are alternatives to smartphones. For my son, who's now 13, we used a flip phone for a few years before we did get him his own phone with a lot of parameters. But I felt that we were not ready to give it to him because it was too much of an expectation for an 11-year-old or a 12-year-old to manage the responsibility that comes with unlimited access to the internet, which, let's be honest, that's what a phone is. And even with the best parental controls, kids find workarounds. There are loopholes. They're very savvy, and it's not because they're bad kids. It's because they're curious, and rebelliousness and independence seeking are very developmentally normal parts of adolescence. We want our kids to be successful in the future, and that does not mean we need to give them a smartphone in middle school. The longer you can delay, the easier it will be for you when they hit those teen years. I know that there are going to be parents who say, but that's how all of the other kids are communicating. That's how the soccer coach communicates about practices. And yeah, I have a problem with that. I think that's really unfair to families. I think it puts a lot of pressure on kids to have devices, and I don't think it's the right decision. If you wait, then you know there are other people out there. You're not alone. Find the other parents who share your concerns. There are neighborhood groups and community groups all over this country where parents are banding together to say no and push back. You don't have to do this alone. The other recommendation I would have, if you're going to delay as long as possible, which is my recommendation, is to go to your child's school and ask for support. Explain why. Provide research to show why it's better to delay. At the very least, we need to ask our kids' schools for away for the day policies, especially through middle school. It is not better for children to have access to their devices during the school day. In fact, it is much worse and has a negative impact on their learning, their outcomes, their self-esteem, their social relationships. If we want to set our kids up for success, we need to delay access as long as possible. It doesn't mean forever, but it means to delay it as long as you are able. Don't worry, you don't have to do this alone. I'm right here with you. That's our Tech Intentional tip for the day. Thanks.